this morning with a little story. I'll tell you about a good friend that I work with, and I'll tell you the story and set it up for to help you understand why I said some of the things I said at the end of the previous section. One of my colleagues, who does not like to be named in these conversations, you understand why. She is one of my dearest friends. She has been at the campus that I teach at since it opened. When Central Florida Bible College opened in 1970-something, she was the first employee. Now, she now teaches there. She's a professor emeritus. She has just retired. So she has been through Central Florida Bible College, Florida Christian College, now Johnson University, Florida. She has a rather quiet personality. She loves to be in the background, putting other people forward. She does not like to be on stage. Sometimes when I speak in chapel, which is hardly ever, they'll ask her to introduce me. And when she introduces me, she will not go up on the stage. She will stand kind of right over here and just speak, because it's just part of her quiet personality. Now, I will sometimes, she hates this, but I will sometimes tell students that she is the Holy Spirit of our campus. She's been there since day one, since creation. Okay, hovering over the waters of the deep. Because she's been there since day one, she knows everything. And she likes to be in the background, putting forward others for glory. Now, I heard a theologian one time describe the Holy Spirit as having a shy personality. It was weird to me when I heard it. It's weird to you right now. But I got to thinking about whether or not the various members of the Trinity, I don't even know how to say that well, because we were talking about this earlier, do the various members of the Trinity have personality? Do they have things they like and things they dislike? Things that, I don't know, I like Mountain Dew. I hate Mellow Yellow. You know, maybe this is what God's is. Maybe God hates pork. I don't know what his problem is, but he won't let him eat it. That's just one of the things that he doesn't like. Now, perhaps, I'll tell you this story about my colleague to help you understand a little bit about the Holy Spirit. Every time I see the Spirit working in the New Testament, he's always putting forward Jesus for glory. Never himself. Always working in the background, putting forward Jesus for glory. I read in the book of Revelation, not Revelations, I read in the book of Revelation that God is squarely on his throne, and the Lamb is there with him. And yet, the sevenfold Spirit of God, which sometimes translated as seven spirits, but it's a reference to the Holy Spirit. It comes out of Isaiah chapter 11. The sevenfold Spirit of God is there, but sort of in the background. Now, this is the context of my comment about the Spirit never being really addressed in prayer. I don't mean to criticize those who do. I really don't. I come from a Stone Campbell tradition, and I have been trained to say, what does the Bible teach us to do, and to think and believe and say? And I think, okay, this is where the evidence takes me, and I want to do my best to sort of align myself more with that. It's not to say that those who pray to the Spirit are necessarily wrong, but I think I want to move in that way. And if the Holy Spirit does have that shy personality, in the same way that my colleague would not like to be named here, I wonder if the Spirit is going, please don't do that. Okay? I'd rather that go to Jesus. I offer that as something for you to think about and to never talk to me about again. Now, I'm just being honest with you. I told you the professionalism would come down. The more tired I get, the more you roll through the week. Okay? Only God knows what I'm going to say on Friday. Now, let's think about some questions. Here's what I want to do. You can get in the same groups you had yesterday. You can get in different groups. For those of you who are just here for the first, any of you here for the first time? Yes? Okay. So here's what we're doing. So I don't mean to pull you out like, hey, look at the news. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to be rude. It just comes naturally to me. So what we're doing here is now discussing. It didn't seem right to me to say, let me just talk at you for the next 3 hours. I don't want that. You don't want that. Okay, so now that we've done the thing, let's process a little bit. So we're going to use all this room if you want to. If some of you want to get up and come up here, some of you want to sit in the baptistry, I don't know. Okay, if you want to sit over here, just use all the space you want. You can get the same groups, you can get different groups. You're big boys and girls, I'll let you figure it out if you want to, okay? But let's think about some questions. I want you to think primarily about, to start with, here are the two questions. What were the similarities between Paul's prayer life as a Jew and his prayer life as a Christian? Okay, now I don't know that he would make a distinction between those two things. Okay, he is still a Jew who believes that Jesus is the hope of Israel and thereby the world, and so maybe that's a wrong way to think. But think about what are the similarities and the differences between his prayer life there. And then, let's say, do that for a moment, and then I want to come back and we'll talk about the vocabulary, okay? The differences and similarities between Paul's prayer life before he knew Jesus and after he knew Jesus. Ready? Go. The next thing that I'd like for you to spend some time discussing, you can keep doing this if you want, as soon as I'm done. Like, we can get more discussing, you just shut up and leave us alone. I get that, but here we are. So, here's the list of vocabulary that comes from Paul's letters, the vocabulary that he uses. Now, I want you to think just about 2 or 3 questions. First of all, what does this vocabulary tell you about Paul's practice of prayer and about your own practice of prayer? And then I want you to spend some time thinking about how frequent is the use of the term thanksgiving in Paul's prayers. And think about what that means for his prayers and whether your prayers are more thanksgiving-oriented or request-oriented. So the big question is, does my prayer experience line up with that of Paul, where he does have requests, but it seems that the language of thanksgiving just dominates his prayers, and does that match our experience? So vocabulary, what do we learn about him? How does that reflect our experience? And then the questions about thanksgiving in our prayers. Okay? Or do what you're doing before. Carry on. I really hate to interrupt you. You're doing so well, and so I want to give you some things to think about in case that carries the discussion forward. Think about these 2 questions. Paul says in a couple of places in his letters that he struggles or wrestles with God in prayer. So I'd like you to reflect a little bit about what that means, not just in his experience, but in your experience. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And why do we do that? The second question is this. Is there special vocabulary that we are to use in prayer? Now, before you say no, maybe it's helpful to frame the question this way. Are there certain things that we should not say during prayer? Okay, that's a weird question. I want you to think about that. We approach the Father in love and respect. What does that look like? So what does it mean to struggle? And then is there special vocabulary that we are to use or that we're not to use? Okay? Okay, last question for the day, I promise. I want you to think about, share with folks around you, something that you're praying about right now. And let the folks around you help you figure out what is the kingdom value, the kingdom force of that prayer. How do you pray that in ways that are wrapped around the gospel and kingdom advancement? So what are you praying about right now, and how does that advance kingdom?